Hundreds of demonstrators gathered in Medellin, northwestern Colombia, to demand respect for democracy in Venezuela and reject incumbent President Nicolas Maduro after a disputed presidential election result. Colombians and Venezuelans living in Medellin gathered in the midtown city to denounce alleged electoral fraud in the last presidential elections that gave victory to Maduro. Protesters waved Venezuelan flags and banners with messages such as "Free Venezuela" to express their support for Venezuelans after the July 28 elections. Protests erupted across Venezuela after electoral authorities declared Maduro had won a third term in office with 51% of the vote, extending the Chavista movement's quarter-century rule. But the country's opposition says its count of around 90% of the vote shows that its candidate, Edmundo González, received more than double the support of the incumbent president. Meanwhile, Venezuelans held a candlelight vigil to demand the release of political prisoners detained by President Nicolas Maduro's government. Opposition groups and human rights activists organized the event in a public square in eastern Caracas. Attendees formed the words "Peace and Freedom" with their lit candles. The vigil underscored the plight of many protesters, activists, and political figures detained in the week following the contentious presidential elections. Maduro has said that some 2,000 people had been arrested during the protests. US-based Human Rights Watch has reported at least 20 people have been killed. The local NGO Foro Penal has registered 1,229 detainees, including 105 juveniles. The published election results sparked widespread allegations of fraud and protests. Subsequently, security forces cracked down on protests, which Maduro's government labeled as part of an attempted US-backed coup.